Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Love Messages for Her. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe and follow us for more videos like this. You were never hard to love. You were never hard to love. I was just too afraid to love you the way you deserved. I keep replaying your ways in my head. The way you looked at me when I pulled away, like you were trying to understand what you had done wrong. You hadn't done anything wrong, not once. It was always me. You loved me gently, patiently, like love was something sacred to you, and I treated it like something temporary, like something I could come back to whenever I felt ready. You were never hard to love. You were just loving me at a depth I wasn't brave enough to meet. I remember the nights you stayed awake just to hear my voice, even when I had nothing to say, even when I sounded distant, even when I gave you crumbs instead of your presence, you still showed up. I remember the way you laughed at my stupid jokes, the way you believed in me before I believed in myself, the way you felt my pain like it mattered, and I replied you with confusion. With silence, with excuses, with emotional half truths. You weren't too much, you weren't needy, you weren't dramatic. You were just in love with a man who didn't know how to stay. I used to tell myself you were asking for too much reassurance, too much consistency, too much honesty. But the truth is, you were only asking for the bare minimum. And I couldn't even give you that. I see it now, how every time you leaned closer, I took a step back, how every time you opened your heart wider, I closed mine tighter, how every time you chose me, I chose my fear. I told myself I needed space. I told myself I wasn't ready. I told myself you deserved better. What I never admitted is that I was terrified of losing control. You saw me, really saw me, and instead of feeling safe, I felt exposed. So I sabotaged us quietly, with delays, with detachment, with mixed signals, until loving me felt like chasing a ghost. You were never hard to love. I just didn't love myself enough to believe I deserved you. I think about the moment your energy changed, the moment you stopped asking questions, the moment you stopped crying in front of me, the moment your voice went flat and calm. That's when I should have panicked, because that wasn't peace. That was you giving up. I told myself you were finally okay. But what you really were was done. You started loving me from a distance, preparing your heart to leave. Warning me while I was still standing right in front of you, and I was too emotionally asleep to notice. I missed the way you used to look at me, like I was home, like I was your safe place. Now I know I was the place you learned how to survive disappointment. I know I broke something in you, not with one big betrayal, But with a thousand teeny abandonments every time I chose my comfort over your feelings. Every time I chose silence over reassurance. Every time I chose ego over effort. You still stayed until one day you didn't. And now I finally understand. You were never hard to love. You were just loving a man who didn't know how to hold love without flinching. I wish I had told you the truth that I was scared. That I didn't feel worthy of you. That your love felt too big for the version of me I was. Instead, I made you feel like you were the problem. And that is the regret that haunts me the most. Because you were soft with me, and I was sharp with you. You were consistent, and I was confusing. You were ready, and I was hiding. I don't know if you still think about me. I don't know if you still feel anything when you hear my name. But I need you to know this. You were never hard to love. I was just too broken to recognize what a miracle you were. And if this is the last time my words ever reach your heart, please carry this truth with you forever. The man who failed you didn't fail because you were unlovable. He failed because he didn't know how to love something real when it finally chose him. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.